Hi everyone, welcome to another Fit Lizzie Live segment. Today I want to talk about an article that came out in Medical News Today last week. You've probably heard about it already. It was kind of big news. I've seen it talked about on several outlets, and that's why I wanted to talk about it with my clients, with you guys, with everyone who follows me, because it's kind of a big deal. The news is that something that is in a very common low-calorie or no-calorie sweetener damages DNA. DNA is what we're made of, so we don't want it to be damaged, right? So that's kind of a big deal. And it can also cause cancer. So the title is Sucralose, found in common sweetener damages DNA and may cause cancer. So what is this sucralose, right? The thing is, when I tell you what the known market name of this is, you will recognize it. So sucralose is something that is in Splenda, the no-calorie sweetener that comes in the yellow packet. So we've already heard in the past, the blue packets are bad, the pink packets are bad, that's saccharin, and it's aspartame, which I'll talk about later a little more. So we already kind of knew that there were problems with those. They've done a lot of studies, and it looks like they're not so good for people's health. And again, we'll get to that later. But now Splenda, which so far had been pretty safe-ish, as far as people knew, has been found to maybe cause DNA damage and could lead to higher cancer risks. So, of course, all of this is lab-based, and it's animal tests, and it's in vitro. So it doesn't necessarily mean 100% that's what it does to humans. But, if it's doing that in a lab, the odds are higher, that it might be affecting us the same way, so why risk it? So I really wanted to talk about it because Splenda is very popular, it's very common, and we all thought it was safe. So a lot of us have been using it, and a lot of products have it. So remember, I always say, read labels, read labels, read labels, know what's in your products, preferably eat whole foods, but if you don't, read the labels, make sure you know what's in them, and make sure you're educated as to what this is. So today we're going to be talking about that. So what this article on Medical News Today said was that the new research found that Splenda, or also known as sucralose 6 acetate is the full chemical name of it, is genotoxic, which means it destroys your DNA or can damage your DNA. They did it in lab tests, and it did that. So it's very concerning, because the studies also found that it could affect your gut health negatively. We all know your gut is very important. And it may lead to oxidative stress, inflammation, and even cancer, because cancer is basically, it comes from free radicals, it comes from cell damage, it comes from inflammation, stuff like that. So, if a product or something you're eating is causing more inflammation and oxidative stress, your chances of cancer are a little higher. Again, this is all from the lab, right? So the other important point that they found out here was that the sucralose could change the DNA and damage it in human blood cells and change the gut lining, gut epithelium, which is the gut lining, and it can cause inflammation and even cancer, because it can lead to leaky gut. Now, if you don't know what leaky gut is, just a quick explanation and why it's called that is, your gut should be sealed, like a bag. Like, you should be able to put liquids in it and it shouldn't seep out at all. But there are certain foods that break those tissues and make little openings so that it's not fully sealed, and now you have little openings through which the stuff in your gut leaks out into your body and your system and causes issues and inflammation and diseases and things like that. So if this is breaking down the DNA in the tissues, then it could lead to leaky gut, which could lead to other problems. So it's a lot of coulds, but they're pretty dangerous and bad if coulds. So why not just make better decisions in what you eat, So that's really important. It says that the results support the growing evidence of the harmful effects of artificial sweeteners, such as an increased risk of heart disease and other things, and cancer. Okay, so, and yes, for many years, they've already suspected all these artificial sweeteners. It's artificial sweeteners. Anything artificial, we shouldn't preferably be eating, at least not every day, because we don't know what effect it might have. And the more studies there are, the more we find out, but that's not worth it. Losing those extra pounds is not worth damaging your DNA and your health probably forever. And even the losing those pounds might not even be true. We'll talk about that later, but some of these sweeteners have actually been linked to higher body weight. So why are you even doing it? It's not helping your goals at all. So let's be more mindful about that. Like I was talking about today, there are limitations to this study and the results. So yes, they found this correlation. However, obviously these tests aren't being done in humans, so we don't know for sure what it would do to us, but they were done in vitro and in animal studies, and they had these effects. So, I mean, really, they've done other tests that are the same on other things that turn out to do the same to humans. So the odds are pretty high that it could have the same effect on us as it does on these animals in the lab tests. And so this really raises concerns that doctors like Dr. Damiano, one of the people involved in this study, want to start studying more and think about what occasional or even frequent, like I was saying, daily ingestion of these sweeteners can cause to our health, because so many people are eating them every day. So many people you might be eating these sweeteners every day and you don't even know, because it's in the food you buy, in the packaged foods you buy, and you're not aware that it carries it, So let's read those labels, know what you're eating, and let's keep ourselves educated to know what's going on, because doctors really want to keep looking into this, especially when paired with other artificial sweeteners. So sucralose plus acesulfame K, which is another popular artificial sweetener, and they often put them together in products. So, for example, we also talked about erythritol was recently found to be unhealthy. We haven't talked about it. I'll mention it a little bit. I'll make another video about that. But it's also found to cause negative health effects. And so when they put these two together, these two artificial sweeteners in foods, candies, treats that are light, healthy, diet, whatever, then they have even further negative effects on your health. So, read labels, be concerned. Doctors are concerned about these results. And so, especially because of the higher risk in cancer and things like that. Another doctor also was saying that they know, like we know, for example, that eating sugars is bad for your health if you eat them in very high amounts, right? But eating these chemicals, and they're basically chemicals, these artificial sweeteners in high amounts, could have even worse effects than what sugar does to you. So instead, just, eat less sugar, even if you eat the natural sugar or real full sugar, and not artificial sweeteners. Just have less of it. Just be mindful and do things within reason. And stick to smaller servings of added sugars, and that should be enough. Now, I'm not even going to get to that part yet, but that's sucralose, Splenda. All right, so that's one. Recent, we just found this out. This is why I'm making the video. However, if you didn't know about aspartame has been found already for a while. I believe the latest review I have here quoted is from 2017. So that's already, a few years since we've known that there is no evidence. A 2017 review of studies on aspartame, so now we're talking about aspartame. It's another artificial sweetener that we've known is not good. In 2017, they found no evidence that the low-calorie sweetener aspartame, sucralose, so the one we were talking about before, and stevioside, so stevia, are effective for weight management. Now, this doesn't say that stevia is bad for you. However, it is saying that these low-calorie, no-calorie sweeteners haven't been shown to help people lose weight or control or manage their weight or their body fat or anything like that. There is no proof that this helps at all. So why even put our health at risk, In fact, researchers in that 2017 study found a link between increased body weight and a regular intake of these. So people who are eating artificial sweeteners often actually have been shown in studies to be heavier and not be able to lose weight. And that was already shown before. That's why they say if you want to drink Coke, don't drink Diet Coke. Okay, I'm sorry, Diet Coke, but no, don't drink Diet Coke because it's just keeping you overweight. It's keeping your metabolism slow. It's keeping your sugar levels wrong. It's keeping your everything in the wrong place. It's better to just have one Coke, have half a Coke, just have the regular one. The regular sugar is less damaging to you in that sense, as long as you have just the one every now and then, not all the time, but just Diet Coke, definitely not. Aspartame has been linked to a lot of problems as well, which I'll continue to go. So this same 2017 study found evidence that suggested that those who consume these artificial sweeteners regularly might be at greater risk of developing heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. So you're trying to lose weight to prevent these things, but the thing you're using to lose weight to prevent them could cause them. And you're not losing the weight anyway. Again, these products, artificial sweeteners, are starting to seem redundant and unnecessary and in fact damaging, right? So some research suggests that aspartame might affect body weight by increasing people's appetite, which can lead to food consumption. And the reason is that another older 2015 animal study was studying the relationship between appetite and aspartame, or these artificial sweeteners, and they found that it's because it tastes sweet, but it's not actual sugar. So what it does is it disrupts the signaling process that occurs when people eat. And so your brain's not getting the signal that you're eating something because it doesn't have any calories. And so you still have the signal, I need more calories. And so you end up eating more. So even though you're eating the no calorie sugar, right? There are 0 calories there, but you're still hungry, so you end up eating a bag of chips. So what's the point of eating a 0 calorie drink if you're eating a 500 calorie bag of chips with a bunch of fat and a bunch of carbs? Whereas if you were eating, maybe drinking a Coke or something that has real sugar, I'm not endorsing Coke and I'm not saying drink Coke. Please don't drink soda, preferably, at all. But it's just an example. So if you eat a fruit or something sweet, a date or a tablespoon of honey, your brain actually gets the calorie signal. It says, oh, I'm eating nourishment, I'm eating calories. And so your appetite signals say, hey, you're eating, you can take it easy on the snacks. But when you're eating something with no calories, it's artificial, it's not natural, it's not sending the right signal. So then you still want to keep eating, and you're probably not going to make the right decisions because now you're hungry and you're starvation mode and you just want to eat anything. So that's important, right? Another thing is metabolism. Another review. So see, these are a lot of scientific studies, you guys. This is not just me making stuff up, and I'm not taking this off of Facebook. These are scientific studies. You can always find the link to the article that I'm quoting or talking about in the description of the YouTube video if you want to learn more. But this is all science-based. And then 2016 review discussed the link between low-calorie sweeteners and metabolic disease. So they suggested that if people use regularly these artificial sweeteners, it may disrupt the balance and diversity of the bacteria living within the gut. So we're back to gut health. Those bacteria can affect your mood, your sleeping, your metabolism, your appetite, a lot of things. And so if that's disrupted, it disrupts everything. And if you don't sleep, then you're not rested, then you're producing too much cortisol, and then you can't exercise. You don't exercise, you're gaining weight. It's a vicious cycle. And if these things are at the root of it, we know how to cut it, okay? And then so it says that animal studies show that this type of disruption between the communication like that and can result in glucose intolerance, which is a risk of type 2 diabetes. Even more interestingly, you guys, that kind of effect, aspartame, these artificial sweeteners, especially this aspartame effect on glucose intolerance, is especially noticeable on people who are overweight already. So people who had regular weight did not have a negative effect on their glucose tolerance with aspartame, but people who were overweight did. So they were already struggling with overweight and insulin and things, and then adding the aspartame to their diet just made it harder for them, and that's why they get stuck and they can't lose weight. Please don't drink Diet Coke. Please don't consume aspartame. at all. That one has been proven to do these things, or at least it suggests a lot of things that I'd rather be safe. And I've seen a lot of people who drink a lot of Diet Coke and can't lose weight. So just from my experience, anecdotally, I think it might be true. So last but not least, aspartame increases, research suggests that aspartame increases the risk of certain types of cancer, including lymphoma, leukemia, urinary tract tumors, neurological tumors, type 2 diabetes, preterm delivery, toxicity in the kidneys, toxic liver disease, and harmful changes to your salivary glands. So that's aspartame. And as for sucralose, we're still finding stuff out, but so far it can damage DNA possibly and your gut and add inflammation and oxidative stress. So what we've learned from here, and what even doctors suggest in all of these articles, is that the best thing to do is, like we always say, eat healthy, eat whole foods, eat natural things. So even in these articles, the two they suggested was stevia by itself. Make sure that it's not mixed with these other sweeteners. Read your labels, know what you're buying, know what you're eating. Stevia is fine by itself, and monk fruit sweetener. Those are both natural, 0-calorie sweeteners, but they're natural. Granted, they haven't been studied like this yet, so I might make another video in 2 years telling you that those aren't okay either. But for now, we don't have proof that they might damage anything. So if you want to be 100% safe, stick to honeys, agave syrup, things like that are natural, within reason, within small servings, right? 1 tablespoon at a time. Doctors suggest that you don't have more than 6 teaspoons a day of regular sugar. So as long as you're not going past those 6 teaspoons of sugar a day, you could eat real sugar. You don't need artificial sweeteners. As long as you're not having more than those 6 teaspoons, you could be having honey, you could be having agave syrup, you could be having raw sugar, brown sugar, whatever you want. Just don't have a lot of it and you'd be fine. That's all. That's all. So they also suggest that stick to natural, stick to real sugar, and just limit yourself. Practice portion control. Be mindful, Make sure that whatever you do choose is not mixed with any of those artificial sweeteners. And one extra note, date syrup has the lowest glycemic index, so as a natural sugary sweetener, that would be the best choice because it has it affects your insulin levels and things less than honey or sugar or other things would. So I recommend monk fruit because I love it. It tastes great. Nothing bad has been found about it, and it's natural. And as long as it's not mixed with anything else, it's great. And if you want to go the sugar route and just be mindful of how much you're having, I recommend date syrup. It's actually really delicious. It's not much more expensive than monk fruit is. And apparently it's low glycemic, which I didn't know until this week. So I recommend those, and I hope this was useful and informative for you. Ask any questions, give me any comments, let me know if you want to talk about anything or you want me to cover anything. But stay tuned for more videos. Take care, be healthy, eat natural, read labels. Love you. Bye.